I've played all the Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games, so you don't have to? So during that Nintendo Direct, Nintendo released Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games. I've always been wishing that they would release these as a system on the Nintendo Online expansion, right? And our dreams came true because that's what they announced during that Nintendo Direct. But before I continue, here's a word from our sponsor.
Andy, you start it.
Me?
You start it.
Why?
Well, because we've got their attention.
Oh, okay.
You start it,
yeah.
and I'll follow it, okay?
All right,
Or
okay.
should I start it and you follow
I think
it?
you should start it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why they should come over here and watch the podcast as well.
Yeah.
So they get two of us
Yeah.
for the price of one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, can you introduce that? Or I think we're running out of time,
Yeah.
actually.
We've
They said we had 20 seconds.
3, 2,
So what are my experiences? I started with Alone in the Dark because I thought this is going to be really long. Let's just see what it's like. And it was actually really fun. It's way better than I anticipated. I've never played this one before. And it gave me like serious Resident Evil vibes, you know? And I think it translated so well into the Game Boy, and I actually really enjoyed doing it. You just kind of like wander around, and there's lots of like text and stuff, and you pick up items off the floor, and then he basically says like, oh no, like there's something coming, and then it goes down more like a top-down shooter where spiders and dogs will kind of come at you, and you have to kill them. I mean, it's pretty cruel, but I suppose they're trying to kill you first, right? And it's actually really good. And you shoot them, you pick up ammo, and you wander around. You have to like find clues, and you also have to find like keys and stuff. So I picked up a key, didn't realize how I was meant to use it because I was just kind of like button bashing through the text a bit. And then I realized like, oh, I have to equip it and then press a certain button on like a gate or whatever, and then it will open. And then you get inside the house. Like, it was just really fun, and I actually got glued to it. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. Kirby's Dream Land was fantastic as well. Again, I'd never actually played that, but it was so good. Like just the way the game played, it was just so much better. Like I don't want to say this, but I actually preferred this to like the original Mario games. Because when I was a kid, I used to get so frustrated with them. But the Kirby one was so cool that you can just like breathe in and then like float up, and then you can go and, you know, kill stuff. Like, it was just so good. Like, I enjoyed playing that. It wasn't a chore at all, and I definitely will go back and play that some more. Zelda Link's Awakening, I actually had this one on the Game Boy Color, I think it was, and I really enjoyed reliving that experience because I actually remember getting that game, and I think it was like secondhand. I got it from the shop. I was in the back of the car driving home, and I put it in and I started playing it, and it literally took me right back there. The nostalgia was real for that one, and I just really enjoyed playing that. It was just so good. And of course, my favorite one is Metroid 2, Return of Samus. I've got the original cartridge back there somewhere because, you know, I love Metroid. Oh yeah, I forgot I was wearing a Metroid t-shirt. But anyway, I loved playing through that, even though the game is like, you know, a little bit basic. You're just hunting the Metroids there, but it's still a really, really good game. But overall, like, for the Game Boy stuff and the Game Boy Color stuff, I actually really enjoyed all of them. And I definitely recommend, if you've played any sort of Game Boy or Game Boy Color games and you have any kind of nostalgia there, just try them out. I'm pretty sure these are available straight away as the base sort of tier of Nintendo Switch Online. So you don't need the expansion pack for those ones. It's just alongside the NES games, you know, and the SNES games. You can just go and play the Game Boy games straight away. So definitely check them out. I'm so excited to see what they bring over because honestly, I've not really cared about the NES or the SNES other than Super Metroid. The thing for me is more the other side, the Game Boy Advance, the N64, GameCube if it ever comes over, right? That's my thing. So let's talk about the Game Boy Advance games. I love the Game Boy Advance. I've got a couple different systems. You've probably seen I've got a custom Metroid Game Boy Advance over there that's been on the channel a few times. I've got loads of Game Boy Advance games. I love Game Boy Advance. But I'd never played this one that I've no idea how you say it. Kurunin? I don't know. Never played that before. I've seen it. I've seen the box art, but I've never played it. And I loved it. It's like, you're just a stick that spins and you have to go through a maze. It's as simple as that. It's a puzzle game and it's brilliant. Like I've turned it on thinking, oh, this is gonna suck. Let's start with this one. And I was there for ages, like, I've got to get this stick through this freaking maze, man. Like, it's just so much fun. Like, I could genuinely see myself just sitting down and playing. That's, like, more fun to me than Tetris. I know I'm going to get hate for saying that, but this was like, whee, like, going through the whatever. Mario and Luigi was amazing. I never had this one either, and I don't know why, but I remember wanting it when it came out, but I just never ended up getting it. But it's so good. It's like an RPG. I didn't even realize that. You actually go through and there's a proper story and stuff, and you team up with Bowser. Like, what? And you've got to like attack with both characters. So it goes into like a turn-based thing, but you just press A or B. So A controls Mario, B controls Luigi, and you have to just time your attacks with the button presses and then time your dodges as well. But it was so much fun. Again, I started this one up going like, oh yeah, this is gonna be cool. And it was totally different than what I expected. And I actually want to go back and play through that properly. Because again, with the like NES games and stuff, I just load them up and be like, yeah, okay, I played it, whatever. But that was it. These ones, I'm actually like, I want to be playing it right now. Super Mario Advance is on there as well, yes, and this used to frustrate me immensely as a kid. I still have the game cartridge, and it still frustrates me massively. Like I said, I preferred Kirby, but it's still on there. It is still good fun, but you know, I think the kind of annoyance nostalgia for me was real. Even when I loaded it back up then, I was like, man, I remember how much this really annoyed me when I used to play it as a kid. But you know, it's there. Mario Kart Super Circuit. This is such a good game, so much fun. I only recorded a little bit of footage of this because everyone knows what Mario Kart Super Circuit's like, right? This is a great game. It's Mario Kart on the Game Boy Advance. It's brilliant. Just play it. Now, one of my favorite game franchises ever is WarioWare. I just love Wario games because they're so stupid. The first one I ever had was actually Touched on the DS, and I always thought it was a bit of a questionable name there, right? But it's such a good game, and I went back and I ended up buying this one like years later and playing it on the Switch, on the OLED, like handheld. I haven't played any of these on the TV yet, by the way. I played all of this handheld. So playing on them on TV blows my mind. I haven't even like thought about that yet. But anyway, playing all these on the TV is going to be brilliant, especially like those RPG games like Zelda or that Mario and Luigi one I was just talking about. But WarioWare here, it was just so much fun. I sucked at it initially. I kept dying, but I wasn't like getting my head in the game properly, you know. But after a little while, I got the hang of it again, and I just love mini games. It's just mini game after mini game after mini game, and they're just so stupid and lighthearted and fun, and it kind of is what games should be, you know, like the core element of just have fun. And that's what you get with WarioWare. And finally, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap. Now, this game has a special place in my heart, and it might even be my favorite Zelda game out of all of the Zelda games. Because I had this, you know, on the Game Boy Advance, and I loved it. Like, I absolutely loved this game. I love the fact that you're Link, and you shrink down to the size of the Minish people, and you've got to do all these puzzles and stuff like miniature, and then you come back up as like Big Link again, and it's just so good. And I started like recording this thinking, oh man, I'm going to be playing this for ages to get any footage because it's a Zelda game. You have to go through all the story bits first and like learn all the bits and stuff, but I loved it. The time just flew. It absolutely flew because I zoned straight in it. And again, the nostalgia, like it took me straight back to when I got my original game, which I've got on the shelf behind the camera over there. Like I'm looking at it and I love it. Like this is probably my favorite game out of all of them that are available on here. And again, just a second ago, having that revelation that I can play these all on the TV, like playing Minish Cap on the TV with a proper controller, that makes me so happy. Like this has probably been my favorite release of games out of all of the stuff that they've brought over to the Switch Online. I'd say I prefer this over the N64 and the SEGA MegaDrive stuff. Like, and there's not even that many games on it yet. Because, you know, again, being a handheld lover, I spent way more time with the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance than I did with anything around that sort of period of time. Until like GameCube. GameCube was my like proper thing. So for me, the nostalgia is way more real with these ones, and specifically the Game Boy Advance, because as a kid, I didn't have that many Game Boy Color games, so Game Boy Advance was more my thing, you know, but I'm so hyped. I love the fact that they've added online as well, so you can actually play like online multiplayer on like Mario Kart and stuff like that. It's so good. Like that makes me so happy, and I really cannot wait for other games that they're going to be launching. Please Nintendo, please bring packs of games over right? None of this rubbish of like one game every 3 months, which is what you've just done with the N64 app. Like we're paying you a lot of money here. Bring us the games, right? I know you gave us GoldenEye, but give us more games than just trickling it. Give us like at least 3 a month, you know? 3 a month. That would be fine for me. 3 Game Boy Advance games a month, 3 Game Boy and Game Boy Color games a month. So 6 a month. There we go. Bring us that and we'll be happy. I saw, obviously, as all you probably did in the Direct, that Metroid Fusion's coming. Again, I've got my boxed version up there on the shelf, as along with my F-Zero on Game Boy Advance up there. And I cannot wait to play those on the Switch and on the TV as well. Like, that's going to be so good. And yeah, Golden Sun. I was talking about Golden Sun. If you haven't seen my reacts to that live stream, I know it's long, but I put up a video of my reaction. And way before this was even announced, I was talking about Game Boy Advance and Golden Sun because one of the other games shown there made me think of Golden Sun. And I said, this looks like Golden Sun, and I love Golden Sun. I wish Game Boy Advance come out. And then they dropped Game Boy Advance, and then they showed the game, the freaking, Golden Sun cartridge artwork, whatever, and I was just blown away. I cannot wait to see what else they bring. I really hope they bring Metroid Zero Mission, which is the remake of Metroid 1, because that is the best version of Metroid 1. It's better than the NES version, like so much better. So I really hope they're going to bring that over, since they're bringing Fusion over, and we've got Metroid Dread now, and they've just released the Prime Remaster, but I can't wait to see what more games they bring over to the Game Boy Advance side, because that is where I'm going to spend so much time. I think I'm actually going to use my subscription now, because before, like, I'd play a bit of N64, I'd play a bit of Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, whatever you want to call it. I'll play a little bit of NES and SNES, and then forget about it for months. Whereas I think I'm actually going to start playing these games because I love the Game Boy stuff. So what are your thoughts on all of this? Do you love the fact that they brought Game Boy and Game Boy Advance over? I want to know. And whilst you're there, go and check out our podcast just over here, because me and AJ talk about all things gaming. So you want to do that and click there and subscribe here and subscribe everywhere, and check out another video by me down here as well. But bye.